KXAN's first warning weather keeps you ahead of severe weather in Surviving the Storm. Presented by ABC Home and Commercial Services, Tough Shed, Lon Smith Roofing, and Texas Ford.
Good evening and welcome to Surviving the Storm. I'm Jim Spencer along with the entire KXAN First Warning Weather team, meteorologist Natalie Stoll, Mark Monstrola, and David Yeomans.
Every day we keep a close eye on the weather developments here in Central Texas.
But any meteorologist will tell you severe weather can be unpredictable at best. That's why we want to make sure that you know what to do whenever the severe weather becomes dangerous.
And in the next half hour, we'll hear from the people who survived the storms, the folks who managed to make it through those life-threatening moments safely.
Of all the weather events, few are as frightening as tornadoes. The power destroys without discretion. Those here at the time will never forget the deadliest storm in our local history. May 27th, 1997, the only F5 tornado ever recorded in our area touched down in Jarrell in Williamson County. 27 people died as the storm wiped the Double Creek Estate subdivision off the map. But many people have forgotten that storm system generated 21 other tornadoes, including the most powerful tornado in Travis County history. It was an F4 touching down on Lake Travis and killing one. Compared to Jarrell, it is the forgotten storm, but not for those who survived it.
That was the first time I ever thought, I'm going to die. I mean, I really thought I was going to die. And I remember thinking, I just never would have thought it would have been in a tornado.
Warning, effective until 6:15.
Especially a violent tornado. This is a potentially life-threatening situation. Travis County had never recorded a tornado with 200-mile-per-hour winds, but this was no ordinary day. An hour earlier, 27 lives had been taken in Jarrell. 30 minutes before, another man died as an F3 tornado terrorized Cedar Park. Tornado was reported on the ground, uprooting trees. As warnings continue, a third tornado develops over Lake Travis. Witnesses describe the Pedernales Valley tornado as a multiple vortex, first touching down in Lake Travis, then, like the Jarrell tornado, wrapping up into one large, violent twister. Just missing this house, taking a jog to the right, and wiping out the Siesta Shores Marina. Rare footage of what would become the killer F4 storm shows the first touchdown on Lake Travis. A boater seen driving right into the danger. And minutes later, the Butler family would face certain death.
The tub was actually right here. We went down the hallway to the bathroom, which was in the middle of the house. We get into the bathroom and into the bathtub. We all four piled into the bathtub, and then the door slammed. I felt the wall behind the bathtub start just kind of slowly coming in, like there were some guys on the other side just pushing it in. And I'm looking up, and I can see all kinds of debris, just a big brown mess. I don't remember saying this, but both my boys said, guys, look up at that. I don't think you'll ever be any closer to one. My youngest son, he would tell us, you know, Dad, I saw this rock coming right at me, and then it went straight up, and there was an opening at the front of the tub, and so we just one by one kind of worked our way out, and there was nothing there were no walls standing. It was so real. It was surreal.
Riding out an F4 tornado and living to tell about it.
And I don't really think that today I even still realize how strong that storm was and how fortunate we were to survive it.
Even though there had never been an F4 tornado in Travis County before that one, and none since, weaker twisters can also be deadly, so it's very important to have a plan. The safest place is an underground shelter, a basement, or a strong safe room. If you don't have something like that, find a small, windowless interior room on the lowest level of your home, like the Butlers did. Get out of mobile homes and find the nearest sturdy building. And the same goes if you're outside. Get to a sturdy building. Of course, sometimes you just can't get to a shelter. Drive to one if you must, but if you see flying debris, pull over, park, stay in the car with your seatbelt on, put your head down below the windows and cover. If there's a way you can get lower than your car in a ditch or ravine, lie in that area and cover your head.
And whenever rains and heavy rains move into our area, we are often at risk for flooding.
Central Texas is often called Flash Flood Alley. That's because 11% of the land in Texas is prone to flood damage. I spoke with one woman who experienced the terrifying moment for herself. It was a stormy September night in 2010 when Carrie Arsenault found herself in a frightening situation.
It was raining at the time. This was also about 11 o'clock.
She had just finished dinner at a friend's house. As Carrie headed home, she was cautious.
When I came down here, I knew there was a water crossing to my right, so I didn't want to go that way, so I looked to my left, and I didn't see any warning signs. I knew there wasn't water crossing this road. And what I wasn't aware of was there was a creek, somewhat below me, parallel to where I was driving.
That evening, extremely heavy rainfall caused Bull Creek to flood over its banks, catching Carrie completely off guard.
I did see some water on the road, so I stopped, looking ahead like, what should I do? And at that point, my car stalled.
Floodwaters quickly overtook Carrie's car, rising above her ankles inside of the cabin.
So I called 911. First thing she said, do not get out of your car at all.
But as the waters rose, so did the flood's force, eventually carrying the car downstream to the guardrail on the 2222 crossing.
And at that point, you just feel like you're somewhat in a boat. As I was looking up 2222, I saw a fire truck coming down, and the whole time I'm on the phone with 911. I somehow get my window down to wave my hand out, like, I'm here, I'm here.
Just then, the car was swept over the guardrail and into the raging flood.
And as I'm sinking in my car, it's just quiet. Now, they say something flashes before your eyes, as my pictures of my two kids that I actually have in my house.
That image drove Carrie to fight, to survive.
I had my window down, about this far, so I pulled the window down and I just pulled myself out.
She swam to the surface, struggling to get her bearings.
At that point, I didn't necessarily know where I was, and it's a very helpless feeling. You don't realize the power of a flash flood.
In the middle of the night's darkness and the flood's chaos,
just upstream of that vehicle,
Carrie spotted the Christmas lights strung up on the County Line restaurant.
And it was a familiar sight, so I knew if I could just fight the current and get across, I knew I needed to get out of the water.
Carrie made it to the shore, kicking and swimming through the pain.
Here I was able to grab a tree. I kind of just pulled myself up. This is where I hurt my ankle pretty bad, lost the skin on it.
Out of the water, Carrie finally found help. She says that by staying calm and having luck on her side, she survived the night.
And I knew if I didn't have my window down, there's no way I would have gotten out of that car. And I think truly that's probably what saved my life.
Whenever it rains hard here in Central Texas, we are often at risk for flash floods just like that one.
It is important to be smart whenever that happens. Never drive or swim through flooded waters or on flooded roads. The familiar adage remains true: turn around, don't drown.
Always try to get to higher ground. If for some reason your car or truck stalls in a flood-prone area, get out and get uphill.
Do not park or camp near streams when threatening conditions exist.
And be extra careful at night, because you might not be able to tell if the water is a couple of inches deep or several feet.
You can't describe the amount of pain being shocked at the voltage like that.
He's among a small group struck by lightning and alive to tell his story.
Plus, whenever weather turns severe, KXAN has thousands of cameras to depend on. Coming up, some of the best reported images sent into it.